And with that deposit, my confidence grew. I remember making a deposit into myself when I faced discrimination at my first job since leaving the Marines. I was working as a fundraiser, which required a lot of relationship building and cultivation. One day, my senior vice president came into my office and told me that there was an important donor he wanted me to meet and asked if I had time to stop by his office. Of course, I said yes. I headed over. When I walked into his office, I was surprised to see that I was not the only person in there. In fact, there were quite a few of my colleagues in the room, and notably, they were all people of color, as was the donor themselves. My SVP then proceeded to say to the donor, "Mr. So-and-so, when we last spoke, you mentioned that it was important for you to see a more diverse workforce." And then my SVP made a sweeping gesture at all of us and said, "I just want you to see what we've done with the place." That wasn't the last incident. Not too long after, I received a calendar invite in my Outlook for lunch with the president and the new diversity hires. Me and my colleagues of color were incensed, and we got together. We made a plan to confront the president at this luncheon. But even though we agreed to speak up at the luncheon, I remember being the only one to speak and hold the president accountable for the glaringly racist invite. Everyone else was silent. Although I felt alone and abandoned in that moment, I summoned up the courage to speak truth to power despite the potential consequence to me. And with that deposit, my confidence grew. I remember making a deposit into myself after leaving a job that up until then had paid me the most amount of money I had ever made in my life, to now struggling to pay my bills as I looked for clients.